To give us his assessment of Marcos's first 100 days as president, we have with us on the show Senate Minority Leader Koko Pimentel. Welcome to The Big Story.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me, Roby and Gretchen, and sa lahat po, magandang gabi.
Senator, so your take, first 100 days of President Marcos.
Well, if you want me to grade him, you know, I was once upon a time a law professor. Mataas po ako maggrado, mabait ako. kaya pasado naman po.
Okay, but I mean, pagka sinabi niyo pong pasado, what are some of the things where you would rate him as more than passable, and what are some of the things that keep him from having a higher grade than passing?
Number one, some of his appointments are great people, very good people. But, you know, he made some mistakes. Kaya mayroong mga resignations, may mga konting reorganization. Maybe ako siguro, I'm willing to accept that as part of birth pains. But the deterioration of the peso to the dollar, exchange rate, the inflation rate, ayan po, these are matters that, you know, there must be, at least after 100 days, there must already be a plan or a way of thinking, an economic way of thinking that this administration should subscribe to and test and try and implement, diba, on how to counter all of these developments which make life more difficult here in the Philippines. Meron pang mga breakdown in law and order, yung mga patayan, high-profile assassinations, these all taint the 100 days of the president.
Given the pressing need to address economic woes, inflationary pressures, as well as a weakening currency, do you think the Marcos government has been proactive enough in addressing, or are we subject to global pressures, global trends, and is what we're seeing now all that we can do at the moment?
We cannot always blame the rest of the world on our problems. So ganun yun. Although the entire world is feeling some inflationary pressure, the administration must subscribe to some theory. Diba? How do we counter this? How do we lighten to ease the inflationary pressure? So this has yet to be announced. And then there are two ways. Monetary policy, that is the jurisdiction or realm of the Bangko Sentral. The fiscal policy is the budget. Paano yung budget? The budget has more than 9 billion in confidential and intelligence funds. Is this a wise way of spending money? Then if you're spending money this way, you're contributing to inflation. So, ganun sana. I mean, there must be a way of thinking, a philosophy, governance philosophy, that this administration should subscribe to, announce it well, and then make actions be consistent with words.
Senator, many analysts are saying we are in for an even worse food crisis and a price crisis for that matter. The Department of Agriculture itself projecting that there will be a 20% increase in the price of rice in the coming month. Do you think it was wise for President Marcos to take on the Department of Agriculture portfolio?
I think it is correct to focus on agriculture, but then appoint your alter ego. May alter ego ka, appoint a full-time secretary who is an expert on agricultural issues. When we say expert, naka-quotation marks yan, because you know we can be an expert and yet not understand the current situation and commit mistakes. Okay lang yun, but you have the full-time secretary must at least be familiar with how the DA works and then the agricultural issues that our country has for generations faced. So dapat familiar siya doon. So okay yung focus. The focus must be on agriculture, agricultural productivity, food production. But then if you appoint a secretary, therefore may katulong ka. Diba? If you yourself, if you are the secretary yourself, then wala kang katulong. So that's the main idea. Sana given the sugar fiasco, this should have been an eye-opener that he needs to appoint a full-time Secretary of Agriculture so that may dagdag na tutulong sa kanya. But the focus must still be on agriculture.
Senator, the first 100 days indicate the direction of this government, and given that the president has had 4 international trips during his first 100 days, the most amongst post-EDSA presidents, do you agree with this posturing at very early in his administration? And what can you say about the tone of his visits to Indonesia, to Singapore, and to the United States?
The visits to Indonesia and then to Singapore, okay po yun. These are our ASEAN brothers, and Indonesia is considered the big brother in ASEAN. The visit to the United States, okay din po yun because this is our treaty ally, our long-time historical ally or partner, and then he spoke before the United Nations, okay din po yun to give the Philippines a higher profile at the international scene. It is the last visit which is problematic. The visit to Singapore to watch a race, a car race where fuel is being unnecessarily burned and wasted. So sayang po yun. I mean, I think that was a mistake, a wrong decision to go abroad and then claim that it is part of your break or relaxation, and then watch a car race where fuel, very expensive fuel, is being burned and wasted.
Thank you very much. That was Senate Minority Leader Koko Pimentel.